This clip of the Texas Bucket List is brought to you by Spirit of Texas Bank, Slovacek Sausage, Germania Insurance, TX Burger, and RV Source. Howdy, and welcome back to the Texas Bucket List. You know, when the first settlers came to the Lone Star State and felt the whipping winds of the plains, it didn't take long for windmills to start popping up. Well, today these tributaries are mostly trivial. That is, unless you want to quench your thirst for knowledge at the American Wind Power Center in Lubbock. The skyline of the hub city doesn't just reflect its modern mission as the central city for the South Plains. It also tells the story of a time when the wind helped make a sound that could be heard for miles.
If you had a windmill, this is what it sounded like. And you could hear that noise. The noise radiates off the blades. You can hear that forever. Now, if the neighbor were over there, he may not like hearing that. And there were problems with squeaky windmills and neighbors getting on each other because they didn't get there and grease the windmill.
The original neighborhood fuss. Coy Harris is the executive director of the museum dedicated to gently whisking away visitors to another time, when nature was heavily depended on. You see, these giant blades of yesterday continue to fan the flames of history at this museum dedicated to the windmill.
Well, it was a very important tool. Matter of fact, you couldn't have come out to this part of Texas and lived unless you had a windmill.
I expected there'd be a lot of windmills, but not quite this many.
Never have I seen this many windmills.
It's a place that everybody's happy because everybody likes windmills.
With 160 of the most unique and rare windmills in the world on display, visitors are constantly blown away by the plethora of wind pushers.
I definitely do like that big one.
Marvels of engineering is what I call these machines out here. What you ask them to do, stand out in the back 40 somewhere. They have to be there the next day after a storm comes through. Cows need a drink of water. They're just very beautiful pieces of artwork.
Coy has a true fondness for these massive machines that are becoming harder and harder to come by. It seems these once necessary parts of life are being picked off by a modern-day Don Quixote. Progress.
There were, we calculate, about 6 million windmills made and sold in America.
It's very, very seldom you'll ever see a windmill.
They're disappearing. That's why we're here. That windmill right there was $145. Wow. In some places, that costs more than the house. Wow.
With some sought-after wooden windmills to 25-foot-tall behemoths that helped fill up steam engines on the railroad. This collection is so vast and unique that even the Smithsonian has tried to get its hands on some of these pieces of Plains history. But these Texas treasures are staying in the Lone Star State, and those folks from up north, well, they're just going to have to go blow off.
These mills all pumped water for somebody. They all have a story. So they're fascinating to look at.
Of course, not all of the displays are sitting inside. Outside the museum, you'll find several more displays, including a massive wind turbine that actually serves a purpose.
The wind turbine that we have for this facility is rated at 660 kilowatts and runs the whole place.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's expensive, it costs $1 million, but what we're here for is to show how things work like that.
There are even several windmills that actually pump water. Turns out a little water witching did the trick when finding the right spot.
If you were the right person, and that's what it boils down to, you could take a stick, walk across the ground, and the essence of water would come up through that stick, it would start shaking. That's where water was. A good water witcher could tell you how deep the water was too.
So how much of that was?
There's 4 wells on the property out here, and I water witched every one of them.
You did?
Of course.
So you can feel it.
It's different, isn't it? But you have to be the right person. And people say, oh, it's just a bunch of hooey, but that goes back a long way. You hardly run across somebody that says, I actually did it. It's, I know somebody that did it.
Well, you did it, and you did it 4 times.
4 times out here. Shoot.
It's been said that love is that to life what wind is to a windmill. Well, here at the American Wind Power Center in Lubbock, you'll find lots of fluttering love for these relics to time.
Well, it's the only place like it that they'll find, really, in this field.
It's a lost era, and I think it's very important that people see just how the folks coped back many, many years ago.
I don't think people realize the artistry that goes into these fans, these windmills, and the beauty of them, and the heritage. It's just something that I think all of us need to see because it's part of our history.